During the school sports meets relay race, the person in first place who overtook me. Their head exploded like a firework. Competition first, friendship second. Volunteers wear yellow hats. Accept all items they offer. Do not hand the baton to a fifth person. Referees wear yellow vests. If you have any questions, ask a referee. The last place in any event will be punished. No athlete may withdraw from a competition without reason. After my teammate handed me the baton, I shot off like a bullet. The wind roared in my ears, adrenaline surged, and with the finish line less than 30 meters away, someone on my left suddenly passed me. I was already sprinting at full power and knew I couldn't speed up to overtake them. My heart sank. But then, the finish line tape that had been right in front of me vanished. I hesitated, my speed naturally slowing. Where the finish line should have been, a small, slender figure had appeared, ponytail swinging, back to us, face unseen. Her right hand was extended backward, as if waiting for someone to hand her something. The runner in first place probably froze too, then, reaching the end, instinctively handed the baton to the girl. The next second, the first place runner's head burst open. It happened so suddenly. The students and teachers around us were stunned, and then the scene erupted into chaos, screams and cries filled the air. I just stared blankly as the headless body collapsed heavily in front of me. When I looked up again, the person with the ponytail was gone. Do not hand the baton to a fifth person. For some reason, I remembered the words I'd seen before the race. At the time, I was warming up for the relay. A girl in a yellow hat had given each of us a flyer, smiling and saying they were pre-race instructions. I skimmed it quickly, thinking the rules were ridiculous. Competition first, friendship second? And, a relay team has only 4 people, so what did don't hand it to a fifth person even mean? I dismissed it as some nonsensical joke and crumpled the flyer into a ball, tossing it in the trash. But now, a chill ran down my spine. If I had been in first place and handed the baton to that person, my head would be the one that exploded. I swallowed hard, suddenly unsure what to do. A few teachers came out to restore order, and the traumatized students were led away. Security guards carried the body off, and the cleaning crew started mopping with buckets and mops. I frowned. Something was wrong, very wrong. Shouldn't they preserve the accident scene? Shouldn't they call the police? Why did they seem so calm? A tall guy walked over to me. "Linda, let me take you to the school nurse's office to get checked out." I turned to look. It was Johnny, an upperclassman. I blushed a little. No one knew I had a crush on him. Johnny was wearing a yellow hat apparently, he was also a volunteer for the sports meet. Probably due to the shock, I only realized as I tried to walk that my legs were trembling uncontrollably. I couldn't walk properly. "Sorry, Johnny." Johnny smiled. "It's okay. How about I carry you?" As he spoke, he naturally reached for the baton in my hand. Alarm bells went off in my head. Do not hand the baton to a fifth person. "Johnny, it's okay, I can walk by myself." I pretended to be shy and dodged his hand, then placed the baton on the ground. The rule said not to hand it over, but it didn't say I couldn't put it down myself, right? Johnny glanced at the baton on the ground, a flicker of something unreadable in his eyes, almost like disappointment, then he helped me towards the nurse's office. In the nurse's office, I quickly cleaned up. The school nurse checked me over. Luckily, I was mostly fine. "By the way, do you have any other events today?" Johnny asked casually. That's when I remembered, I still had jump rope, swimming, and ping pong. No athlete may withdraw from a competition without reason. Damn it, I cursed under my breath. I really shouldn't have signed up for so many events just for a measly participation prize. I asked Johnny if he had seen the smiling girl volunteer or knew about the strange rules. He shook his head, looking blank. Could it be that the girl only gave those pre-race instructions to the participating students? If someone didn't see them, were they not bound by the rules? I recited the rules I remembered to Johnny, and his frown deepened. Just then, another wave of terrified screams came from the field. The phone in the nurse's office rang. The nurse picked it up, his expression growing increasingly grim. After hanging up, he hurriedly got up to go to the field. A lot of students said they wanted to withdraw, but when their event time started, they all. He didn't finish. It sounded like the scene was horrific. The digital clock on the wall chimed the hour. I suddenly realized my jump rope competition was in just 10 minutes. Crap. I leaped up and ran out. Panting, I arrived at the competition area. The contestants were already in place. Several girls had tear-streaked faces. By now, everyone had probably witnessed their classmates' gruesome deaths, yet they still had to force themselves to compete. It was an incredible test of will. I had signed up for the 1-minute speed jump rope. After the referee blew the whistle, all of us started. Because I had just run over, I'd used up a lot of energy. I tried to focus on not making mistakes by going too fast, but watching my opponents jump at lightning speed, I couldn't help but feel anxious. A girl diagonally across from me suddenly stumbled, tripping over her rope. A moment later, the whistle blew. 1 minute was up. The girl who had messed up collapsed on the ground, trembling. The referee announced the results espresso, then, bang. Another shower of blood rained down. The security guards and cleaning crew seemed used to it by now. They efficiently and quickly dealt with the body and cleaned the scene. The judges were announcing the scores, but no one was paying attention anymore. The last place in any event will be punished. So that punishment was death. Once the meaning of this rule became clear, all the participants were gripped by immense fear. Now, not only did we have to compete, but we had to try our hardest not to come in last. During the lunch break, many people in the cafeteria threw up at the sight of ketchup and mashed potatoes. I fought back nausea and forced myself to eat half a bowl of rice. I had to replenish my energy for the afternoon's swimming competition. When I arrived at the pool in the afternoon, I was surprised to find only one opponent, Bella, an upperclassman from student council with me. We were very close. "Linda, you're here." She greeted me. I looked around, confused. "Weren't your 2 roommates supposed to be signed up too?" She gave a wry, bitter smile. "They both got food poisoning. They submitted their withdrawal forms yesterday." "What?" I was horrified. That meant it was just me and Bella competing. Which meant one of us had to die. Neither of us spoke. I was even more nervous and scared than Bella. Because she was the champion of this swimming event from last year's sports meet. And I was just a total rookie. This time, I was sure to lose. Despair enveloped me instantly. My mind went blank. The referee signaled for the race to begin, telling us to get in position. But my feet felt nailed to the floor, completely unable to move. Bella gave me a reassuring smile. "Linda, do you remember what I told you when we first met?" I looked at her. "I said you were like a little sister to me. The moment I saw you, I wanted to protect you." She had indeed said that to me back then. I was so moved by her words that we became best friends. But I didn't understand what she meant by saying it now. The next second, I saw her raise her hand. "Linda, if I just withdraw from the race." "Bella, no." I yanked her half-raised hand down. I was almost in tears. "There has to be another way." After the whistle blew, we both dived into the water. Only a few people stood silently by the shore watching us. No one was cheering. Ever since that bloody scene in the morning, this sports meet had become different. Or perhaps, even earlier, ever since that girl in the yellow had appeared, everything had changed. I silently vowed to myself that I would absolutely not die senselessly under these bizarre rules. Bella and I swam neck and neck, unhurriedly making our way to the finish line. As we neared the end, neither of us rushed to touch the wall. We stopped just before the finish, looked at each other, and saw confirmation in each other's eyes. Then, I reached out and touched the pool wall. This was our plan, to arrive at the finish line simultaneously, both first place. That way, we wouldn't be breaking that strange rule, right? The judges hadn't anticipated this. They couldn't give out the results immediately. So a few of them started discussing, and soon the referee joined in. 5 minutes later, I heard the announcement over the loudspeaker. First place in this freestyle event is Bella. Second place, Linda. My face instantly paled. How could this be? I looked at Bella in disbelief. Her gaze, however, was a bit evasive. I understood immediately, she had broken our agreement. Linda. Her eyes were filled with guilt, and she even tried to reach for me. I was furious and slapped her hand away. Liar. Hypocrite. I trusted her so much, how could she do this? Despair washed over me. Although I didn't know how she'd gotten first place, I had no time to think about that now. Only one thought filled my mind: I was going to die. Just like the others, in the most brutal way. My whole body trembled uncontrollably. I didn't want to die. The ringing in my head grew louder. My eyes blurred with tears as I looked around the pool. The referees just watched me indifferently, as if silently waiting for my death. They were all wearing red vests, like blood, glaringly red. Wait. Red? I squinted. Maybe, just maybe, I had forgotten some crucial piece of information. A strong will to live urged me to rack my brain. Red. Red. I mumbled the word over and over. Referees wear yellow vests. If you have any questions, ask a referee. That was it. The rules clearly stated that only those wearing yellow vests were referees. Shocked, I looked again. 1, 2, 3. All 3 referees were wearing red vests. Only the one who announced the results was wearing a yellow vest. I still had a chance. I object. I want to appeal. I demand a re-evaluation of the results. I shouted and jumped, waving my hands frantically. Bella's face changed when she heard me. The referee in the yellow vest walked over to me. I grabbed his arm. Referee, I don't accept this. This result is wrong. I believe Bella and I were both first. He slowly pulled his arm from my grasp and stared at me. I looked at him pleadingly. Now, he was my only hope. Those few seconds of waiting felt like an eternity. All right, I will consult with the other referees for a re-evaluation. Great. But then another problem occurred to me, and I quickly asked. Excuse me, those individuals sitting over there, wearing red vests, are they also referees? If those so-called referees were still the ones judging the outcome, then it was very likely my efforts would be in vain. Thinking this, I couldn't help but worry deeply again. The yellow-vested referee frowned, puzzled, indicating he didn't understand my question. I pointed upwards, it's just. Huh? How could this be? To my utter surprise, the 3 people who had clearly been wearing red vests just moments ago were now all wearing yellow vests. The referee in front of me ignored me and quickly walked over to discuss quietly with the other 3. I was completely bewildered. What on earth was going on? Out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of a vaguely familiar figure disappearing through the main entrance of the natatorium. It was too quick, but a ponytail flicked up, making me think it wasn't a hallucination. I remembered the back I saw at the first relay race. Was it her? Handing out flyers. The relay race. The swimming pool. Why was she everywhere? Linda. Bella appeared beside me again. I resisted the urge to slap her and turned my face away, not wanting to talk to her. In that short time, I'd figured it out. When it came to life and death, things like friendship and sisterhood meant nothing. Thinking back to her raising her hand to withdraw at the beginning, it was probably all an act for my benefit. "Linda, listen to me, it's not what you think." I finally snapped. "Then what is it?" "Just now, I saw you sneaking around the judge's table with my own eyes. And I trusted you so much." Bella gave a bitter smile. She said, "Because the results of this competition will now be re-announced." I tensed up, not caring what Bella was saying, and quickly looked at the yellow-vested referee. "First place, Bella." My heart felt like it was being squeezed by a giant hand. I could barely breathe. "Please, a tie for first, a tie for first." I chanted it endlessly in my head. The yellow-vested referee glanced at me. "Second place, Linda." With a thud, I completely lost my strength and collapsed to the ground. If there was a definition of utter despair, this was it. I still couldn't change the outcome. Why? Why me? I wasn't resigned. I didn't want this. I wanted to explode in anger, but tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. I swear, in those few short seconds, I replayed every bad thing I'd ever done. But growing up, I'd never really done anything truly awful. Third place, Katie. There was a third place. I shook my head, trying to clear it. Was I hearing things? Linda, actually. Katie didn't withdraw from the competition. Bella walked over and helped me up, her voice subdued. Katie was Bella's roommate. Because I was close to Bella, I was also acquainted with her roommates. I listened blankly as she continued. Lily and Katie were originally going to submit their withdrawal forms together. But Katie suddenly felt unwell before they left, so she asked Lily to submit it for her. But during the race, I suddenly remembered that the withdrawal form has to be submitted in person to be valid. Bella squeezed my hand, her expression mournful. So, Katie, she didn't withdraw. Now, because of her absence, she's automatically last. My pupils contracted sharply. I struggled to process this information, afraid I'd misheard. I stammered, "So that means I'm not last?" Bella nodded emphatically. "Oh my God. That's great. I'm not last. I'm not going to die." I cried tears of joy, hugging Bella, laughing and crying at the same time. "Linda, there's something else I need to tell you. When I went to the judges to fight for first place, it wasn't just because I remembered Katie hadn't withdrawn. Do you remember those so-called sports meet rules? Think about the first one." "The first one?" I frowned, trying to recall, and mumbled, "Friendship first, competition second." The moment the words left my mouth, I instinctively felt something was wrong. No. It was competition first, friendship second. I suddenly realized something. So, the two of us waiting for each other, trying to get first place at the same time, was against the rules. I mulled over her words, and it finally sank in. She was right. Fear, regret, guilt, a mix of complex emotions swirled within me. I didn't know how to face Bella. Bella hugged me, comforting me in turn. "It's okay, Linda. If I were you, I would have done the same thing. Luckily, we're both safe now. It's just Katie." The thought hit me belatedly, and my face fell. She wasn't at the competition today, so she wasn't bound by that rule. Maybe she could escape this. I still held on to a sliver of hope. Just as Bella and I were worrying about Katie, Lily ran in from outside the natatorium, frantic. "Bella! Katie! She. Lily couldn't finish her sentence, covering her face and bursting into tears. It seemed Katie had already met a terrible fate. I sank back into deep fear and confusion. Could I really survive this unscathed? At dinner time, I listlessly picked at my food and returned to my dorm room like a zombie. Before I could even sit down, my phone rang. It was Johnny. "Linda, can you come to the back of the dorm building now? I have something for you." His voice sounded urgent. I didn't feel like I could refuse, so I agreed. Behind the girls' dorm was a small grove of trees. Usually, people would stroll there after meals, but today's events at school had been so shocking that the woods were deserted and eerily quiet. I walked along the pebble-paved path, looking around, when a familiar voice drifted over. "Make yourself clear. Did you submit Katie's withdrawal form or not? Lily, you don't suspect me of harming Katie, do you? Why on earth would I do that?" "Because Katie was planning to go to the counselor and admit her mistake, but you disagreed." I then noticed that the two people talking were none other than Bella and her roommate, Lily. Bella had her back to me, so I couldn't see her expression, but I heard her sigh. "Lily, even if Katie and I argued about that, am I psychic? Did I deliberately hold back her application yesterday just so she'd run into trouble at the sports meet today?" Lily seemed stumped and didn't reply. Bella continued, "Linda and I have a ping-pong match tomorrow. I can barely save myself right now. If I'd known people would die, why wouldn't I have applied to withdraw myself?" Lily said, "Even if you say that, Katie died because her withdrawal form wasn't submitted." I hid behind a tree, watching an emotional Lily, completely bewildered. Didn't Bella say Lily submitted all the withdrawal forms? Why did it sound like Bella was responsible for Katie's application, according to Lily? "Lily, have you ever thought that Katie's trouble wasn't because I didn't submit her application, but because it simply wasn't approved?" Lily froze, then fell completely silent. And me, eavesdropping, didn't dare approach them. Because I realized Bella seemed to have lied to me. But why? I always thought we had a very close, tell each other everything kind of relationship. The two of them left quickly. As I stood there, lost in thought, someone gently tapped my shoulder. "Linda, what are you looking at?" Johnny suddenly appeared behind me, scaring me half to death. "And nothing. By the way, Johnny, you said you had something for me?" Without another word, he pressed a necklace into my hand. "This is for you." The necklace was beautiful. It was still warm in my hand, clearly he'd been holding it for a while. With everything that happened at school today, I suddenly felt I shouldn't hesitate anymore. Johnny's face gradually turned red. "Linda, I like you. Please accept this necklace and be my girlfriend." My mouth hung open, I didn't know what to say for a long moment. Johnny asked again, "Accept the necklace, be my girlfriend, okay?" I stared blankly at Johnny. It was true I liked him, but it had always been a secret crush. For him to confess so suddenly felt too abrupt, too rushed. All my attention was on tomorrow's competition. I really didn't have the energy to care about anything else. I looked at the necklace, about to politely decline, when my eyes caught the hat on Johnny's head. A sentence flashed through my mind. Volunteers wear yellow hats. Accept all items they offer. The next morning, I got to the ping-pong venue just in time. There weren't as many people as I'd expected. Expressionless security guards and janitors had just finished cleaning the scene. Terrified survivors supported each other as they left the venue. The men's and women's singles matches had just ended here. I silently prayed for yesterday's good luck to continue. As long as I didn't come in last in this match, I'd be safe. When Bella saw me arrive, she hurried over, words of blame tumbling out. "Why weren't you answering your phone? The match is about to start." "Sorry, Bella. But we're partners, I won't drag you down." That's right, Bella was my partner. We were competing in women's doubles. She checked the time and let out a long sigh. Then, seeming to realize her attitude had been a bit off, she quickly adjusted her expression and smiled at me. "Linda, I didn't mean anything by it. I was just worried something happened to you." It's good you're here. We absolutely cannot lose. I nodded, one hand fiddling with the necklace around my neck. Bella's gaze then fell on my hand, and her expression changed. Bella, what's wrong? I asked curiously, still toying with the necklace. She forced a smile and shook her head, saying it was nothing. Unlike swimming, ping pong was my strong suit. Bella and I had decent teamwork, and because many others were too nervous and made frequent mistakes, we easily advanced through the first elimination round. Bella looked immensely relieved. The competition used a points-based system. The team with the lowest score was a girl from the art school. She was alone because her teammate had died yesterday, but she still had to force herself to compete today. Unfortunately, she was outnumbered. Now she was crouching on the ground, trembling and sobbing, awaiting her punishment. I closed my eyes, unable to watch. While waiting for the semi-finals, Bella finally couldn't hold back and, pointing at the necklace around my neck, asked, "Linda, where did you get this?" I countered, "You seemed interested in my necklace earlier, why?" "Oh, nothing. It just looked familiar." "Really?" "Ugh, I can't remember." I smiled faintly. "On my way here, I ran into Lily from your dorm. She said Wendy had an identical necklace." Wendy, along with Lily and Katie, was Bella's roommate. Actually, I knew Wendy before I met Bella. It was just that Wendy had always been a loner and wasn't particularly close with the other three in her dorm. 3 months ago, she was caught cheating on a major exam. The school had a zero-tolerance policy for cheating and promptly expelled her. Bella's eyes widened in realization. "Ah, now that you mention it, I remember. Yes, no wonder it looked familiar, huh? Speaking of which, after Wendy left school, have you guys kept in touch? How is she doing now?" Bella shook her head. "No contact. I don't know how she is." I nodded, pretending to believe her, then pressed on. "Oh, so why were you arguing with Katie?" Bella's face stiffened, then she looked at me suspiciously. I smiled faintly. "Want to know where this necklace came from? Johnny gave it to me." In that instant, I didn't miss the shock and disbelief in her eyes. "Bella, you like him too, don't you? But last night, when he confessed to me, he put this necklace on me himself. Bella, are you incredibly jealous of me right now?" Anger flickered in Bella's eyes, and her tone became harsh. "Linda, what are you doing? Showing off to me? Do you even consider me a friend anymore?" Before I could say anything else, the whistle for the semi-finals blew. Bella bit her lip, grabbed her paddle, and prepared to play. "Whatever it is, we'll talk after the match." I didn't move. Bella didn't press me further. Right, she probably figured that since the last place always died, it didn't matter if they won the remaining matches or not. After all, just surviving was the greatest luck. Our match in this round was scheduled later. The teams with lower scores were currently facing off. 2 girls were from the team with the lowest score among those who advanced to the semi-finals. In this best 2 out of 3 match, they still lost every game. Meaning, regardless of how other teams performed, this team was now confirmed to be the lowest scoring team in the second round. The 2 girls didn't care at all. Instead, they looked relieved and happy, quickly packing their things to leave. But no one expected that just as they reached the door, bang! Bang! 2 loud sounds, and 2 headless bodies fell straight down. Everyone froze. So, that rule, the last place in any event will be punished, actually included the semi-finals. That meant the finals would be the same. Of the 4 teams in the finals, the last one would also die. Looking back now, those who didn't make it to the semi-finals in the first elimination round but weren't last place were the truly lucky ones. They were safe. Once everyone figured this out, they immediately started to throw the games. No one dared to score, because no one wanted to go to the finals just to die. Compared to life, what did winning or losing matter? However, this was a points-based competition. Even if all teams scored 0-0 in every game, the teams with higher overall scores would still advance. Bella pulled me into a corner and whispered, "We're currently ranked 5th in points. As long as we do nothing, don't win, don't advance, we'll be safe." I nodded in understanding and replied, "Thanks for the reminder, Bella." And so, I rallied my spirits and, single-handedly, defeated all opponents, smoothly advancing to the finals. Bella was about to lose it. She dropped her usual gentle demeanor towards me and harshly demanded if I was trying to get myself killed. I just smiled and didn't answer. "Linda, I don't know what's gotten into you today. But if you want to die, I don't. Don't drag me down with you." I smiled reassuringly at her. "Bella, why are you so scared? As long as we get a good ranking in the finals, we won't die." The finals were in the afternoon. Bella glared at me and stormed off. I quietly followed her. It was in the small grove behind the girls' dorm again. Bella faced Lily with an impatient look. "What couldn't you say in the dorm? Why here? Bella, tell me honestly, does Katie's death have anything to do with you?" Smack. A loud slap. Lily nearly stumbled. Bella pointed a finger at Lily and started yelling. "You and Katie are just like two dogs at my feet," and add Linda, that idiot, to the mix. "Why is everyone turning against me?" Lily clutched her cheek, her face defiant. "Bella, you rely on your brother who's in a gang, acting all gentle and sophisticated in public, but bossing everyone around in the dorm. If the three of us didn't go along with you, you'd threaten and hit us. I've had enough." Bella kicked Lily again, a dark, sinister look on her face I'd never seen before. "Had enough? Then why don't you go die too? Since the gloves are off, do you dare admit you secretly kept Katie's withdrawal form?" Bella sneered, her tone disdainful. "I'm not afraid to tell you. Yesterday morning, I was the first one to see those competition rules. So I had someone go to the counselor's office and steal Katie's withdrawal form. So, it really was you who killed Katie." Bella tilted her chin up high, a smirk playing on her lips. "Who told her to say she was going to confess to the counselor about that Wendy business? She deserved to die." In the afternoon, I slowly strolled into the competition venue. Bella was already there. When she saw me, her attitude from the morning had completely changed. She was warm and friendly again. "Linda, we had some misunderstandings this morning. My attitude wasn't great, I apologize. I've thought about it. Even though I like Johnny too, you can't force feelings. If you two end up together, I'll wish you both the best." Looking at her sincere face, I couldn't help but sigh. This was the kind of acting that had fooled me before. "Let's work hard together. As long as we don't come in last in this round, we'll be safe. Linda, you don't want to die either, right?" Her beautiful eyes held a rare plea. I didn't speak, just nodded. Only 4 teams were left in this round. I saw everyone's face was pale, their bodies tense. Out of 8 people, 2 had to die. The pressure was immense. Just then, the loudspeaker suddenly announced a change in the ping-pong finals format. Instead of pairs playing each other directly, it would now be based on scores. The 2 highest-ranking teams would compete for the championship, and the 2 lower-ranking teams would compete for 3rd place. Once the new format was announced, some were happy, some were dismayed. According to the score ranking, Bella and I were 3rd. The 4 girls from the 1st and 2nd teams were crying with joy, hugging each other happily. But on our side, out of 4 people, 2 had to die. The pressure intensified. I stole a glance at Bella and was surprised to find she wasn't nervous at all, a complete contrast to her agitated state this morning. With only 2 minutes left before the match, Johnny suddenly arrived. He ignored Bella's mournful gaze beside me, looking at me with affection, trying to calm my nerves. "Linda, don't be nervous. As long as you're not last, you'll be fine." Then, with his back to the crowd, he secretly slipped a small vial, like perfume, into my hand. He lowered his voice, "This will calm your nerves. Just smell it, and you won't be so tense." I looked at the object in my left palm and frowned. My clothes didn't have pockets. Was I supposed to hold it in my hand throughout the match? Shoo. The whistle blew. Johnny immediately pushed me back onto the court, not forgetting to shout encouragement. I clenched my left hand and focused on preparing for the match. A faint fragrance emanated from my palm. It really did seem to help me focus and calm down, just as Johnny had said. "Referee, my teammate isn't here yet. Can we wait a little longer?" The girl opposite us pleaded tearfully. Only then did I notice she was indeed alone on her side. The referee in the yellow vest showed a hint of pity but was helpless. Rules were rules. Either she played 1 against 2 and toughed it out, or she forfeited. But forfeiting was like suicide. She could only force herself to continue. Bella's face was impassive as she urged coolly, "Let's just start the match." The girl had no choice. She wiped her tears and began. After a few rounds, the girl made frequent errors. When it reached match point, she was almost in despair. Suddenly, a whistle interrupted the game. A referee walked up to Bella and me, looking very angry. "We just received a report that one of you is carrying a prohibited item. Hand it over immediately." Bella frowned, looking at me questioningly. I shook my head, indicating I didn't know what was going on. The referee, stone-faced, made a gesture. 2 female volunteers in yellow hats came over and, without a word, began to search us. In less than a minute, the small vial was found. The referee unscrewed the cap, sniffed it, and his face changed. He then stated firmly, "This is it. Group C is cheating." Bella instantly panicked. She blurted out, "Referee, that's not mine." The item was found on Bella. At that moment, 2 people in red vests came over and grabbed Bella by each arm, their voices mechanical as they spoke. "Cheater, results cancelled, accept punishment." Bella's eyes widened at the word punishment. She screamed, "I didn't. That thing isn't mine." The red-vested figures wouldn't listen, dragging her away. Bella struggled desperately. "You're not referees. I won't go with you." She ran to the yellow-vested referee, grabbing his arm tightly and asserting, "I checked before the match, I wasn't carrying anything. Someone must have put that in my clothes during the game. During the game, only I would have had the opportunity." Everyone looked at me. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and offered no explanation. Logically, no one would think I put it there. If our team was caught cheating, we'd inevitably be last and face death. Why would I do such a thing? Bella understood this too, of course, but she couldn't explain herself now. Others would just assume she'd resorted to drugs to win. Of course, I was the one who planted it. Just before the match, when she wasn't looking, I had quietly slipped it into her pocket. I turned to look at Johnny. He stood in the crowd, his hat pulled low, his expression unreadable. I looked at him coldly, then yanked the necklace from my neck. Johnny, he'd really gone to such great lengths to see me dead. Yesterday, he specifically asked me out and put on that whole confession charade just to confirm that I truly believed the rule about accepting all items offered by volunteers. As a bonus, he could also drive a wedge between Bella and me. Then today, under the guise of caring for me and helping me, he could confidently hand me the banned substance. And because I felt bound by the rule, even if I sensed something was wrong, I couldn't refuse. However, he didn't expect that I already knew the truth. Johnny, he wasn't a volunteer at all. Volunteers wear yellow hats, but not everyone wearing a yellow hat is a volunteer. Johnny deliberately wore the same hat as the volunteers to make me trust him, aiming to use the rule to trap me at a critical moment. If I hadn't been suspicious yesterday and specifically checked the volunteer list for this sports meet, I would have been completely fooled by him. So, I had suspected from the start that there was something wrong with what he gave me. It didn't take much thought to realize Johnny must have secretly reported it to the referee. Bella, at this point, had abandoned all pretense of composure. She ran to me again, shaking me violently. "Linda, how can you be so calm? Why don't you explain for me? Our team's results are cancelled, we're both going to die." I pushed her hand away and said with a cold laugh, "Then let's die together." Bella froze, not expecting me to say such a thing. I leaned close to her ear and whispered, "Doesn't it feel awful to be wrongly accused?" Bella's pupils contracted, her face filled with disbelief. I couldn't hold back any longer, hatred flaring in my eyes. "When you let Wendy be falsely accused of cheating and expelled from school, did you ever think about how she would feel? Did you ever think about how I would feel if I found out the truth one day? You said you didn't know Wendy's current situation, so why were you arguing with Katie? Katie didn't want to hide it anymore because Wendy committed suicide. She's dead. Katie couldn't bear the guilt and wanted to confess to the teachers. Of course, you didn't want her to do that, because you are the real culprit who drove Wendy to her death. You deliberately didn't tell me why Wendy was caught cheating, because that item, you asked me to give it to her." The more I spoke, the more agitated I became, questioning her while tears streamed down my face. All the emotions I had suppressed since learning the truth yesterday burst forth. I advanced step by step, and Bella retreated step by step, finally collapsing to the ground. Her chest heaved violently, her face filled with terror, yet she still tried to argue. "I don't understand what you're talking about. Did Lily tell you a bunch of lies?" Just as she finished speaking, Lily suddenly walked in from outside, followed by several security guards. She pointed at Bella on the ground. "She's here!" Lily shouted to everyone. Bella, in order not to lose the competition, had her gangster brother interfere with other contestants trying to get to the match. The scene erupted in an uproar. The girl on the opposing team, after hearing this, took several seconds to react, her expression shifting from shock and fear to anger. At this moment, everyone looked at Bella with contempt, anger, and indifference. No one sympathized with her or believed her. I bit my lip, my nose stinging, and let the tears fall freely. "Wendy, you must have been in a similar situation." After the foreign languages major exam, Bella had told me with a look of regret that Wendy was caught cheating in the exam room. She also told me that if Wendy had shown remorse, she wouldn't have been expelled. But Wendy refused to admit it, even getting into a physical altercation with a teacher. The school deemed her behavior egregious and expelled her. After that, I lost contact with Wendy. I could never reach her phone again. I didn't dare to think about what Wendy must have felt that day, being publicly accused of cheating by the proctor, and how disappointed she must have been when she discovered the evidence of her cheating was given to her by her most trusted friend. She was so disappointed that she didn't even come to yell at me or accuse me afterward. Bella was out of options. She could only repeat, "I didn't cheat. Check the security footage. I want to see the cameras. I don't admit to cheating." But the referee wouldn't listen. Just as the referee was about to make the final judgment, I suddenly raised my hand. "Referees, teachers, I have something to say." Bella looked at me sharply, a glimmer of immense hope in her eyes. I pointed to Johnny in the crowd and said, word by word, "He gave her that banned substance." The crowd gasped, instinctively taking a step back, creating an empty circle around Johnny. He suddenly looked up. I walked to the side, picked up a black backpack, and thrust it into Johnny's arms. He put the drug in this bag and then gave it to Bella. Without thinking, Johnny threw the bag back at me, shouting, "Who are you trying to frame? This isn't even my bag." The words had barely left his mouth when a loud bang echoed. Johnny's head was gone. I, being closest to him, was splattered with blood again. The crowd scattered in terror. I stood rooted to the spot. Compared to the fear and confusion of the first time, I should have felt a sense of vengeance now, but my heart felt empty. I knew some things could never be remedied, no matter what I did. I dropped the backpack on the ground. The zipper was slightly open, revealing a relay baton inside. No one asked what happened. The security guards and janitors skillfully cleaned up the scene and left. The referee continued to announce. Group C, due to cheating in the competition, your results are cancelled. You are automatically the last place in this round. Bella had become numb, her eyes vacant, showing no emotion. I closed my eyes, my heart calm, silently awaiting the inevitable. Wendy, if this is the outcome you wanted, I have no complaints. The world suddenly brightened. I opened my eyes and found myself on a bus. Two girls beside me were talking softly. Hey, I see your pants are dirty. You can use my backpack to cover it up for now. Oh. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're welcome. The next stop is the last one. You're not also a student at a university, are you? Yes, I am. I'm a sophomore in foreign languages. What a coincidence. I'm a freshman in electrical engineering. My name is Linda, what's yours? Wendy. Space suddenly warped, and the next second, I was back in a corner of the school field. Wendy was staring at her phone, blushing. I leaned over and saw a familiar name on her screen. Johnny. A sound of suppressed sobbing caught my attention. I turned to see Wendy crying softly in the restroom. The subsequent scenes flashed by like a fast-forwarded, edited movie. I would occasionally bump into Wendy at school. She was always alone, rarely smiling, but she always seemed happy when she saw me. I met Bella by chance. She said I was like her little sister and often asked me out. Bella loudly announced in the dorm that she would help me get with Johnny. Wendy froze when she heard this and later silently deleted Johnny's messages. Bella asked me out and gave me a small pouch, saying it contained a good luck charm for exams that she had specially obtained. Everyone in her dorm had one, but Wendy had been arguing with her lately. She said if it was me, Wendy would definitely accept it. Suspecting nothing, on the day of the foreign languages major exam, outside the exam hall, I personally gave the pouch to Wendy. That day, I happened to be wearing a yellow hat. I watched Wendy happily put it in her pocket and thank me. In the exam hall, a proctor suddenly walked up to Wendy, precisely pulled the pouch from her pocket, and tore it open in front of everyone. Inside was a densely packed cheat sheet. Wendy denied cheating. Proctors in red vests forcibly removed her from the exam hall. Johnny bragged in the dorm about his charm, saying that several girls from foreign languages and a freshman girl from electrical engineering were easily smitten by him after just a few words. After Bella and the others learned about Wendy's suicide due to depression, they argued about whether or not to go to the teachers and confess. Suddenly, everyone vanished. The world became silent, my breathing audibly clear. I looked far into the distance. Under the warm spring sun, with shadows dancing, the slender figure with a ponytail stood there, having appeared at some unknown moment. Tears instantly streamed down my face. Wendy, I know it's you. The necklace Johnny gave me was the one you were wearing when we first met. I owe you an apology. I'm sorry. A sigh seemed to echo, and then the image faded, until nothing was visible. Epilogue. A car accident occurred at the entrance of a university. An out-of-control vehicle struck 3 students, resulting in 1 female student dying at the scene and a male and female student injured and unconscious. The 2 were subsequently rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. The female student regained consciousness first, the male student remained in a coma. After waking up, The first thing the female student did was to contact the school authorities, insisting on a re-investigation into the cheating incident involving Wendy, a sophomore in foreign languages. With the cooperation of this student and two others named Lily and Katie, the school authorities quickly uncovered the truth, rescinded the original announcement, and apologized to the wrongly accused student, Wendy.